Hello and welcome to a Chip Off the Old Block Toys. I'm Jeff, and today's part 3 of building the Botanical Gardens. And here we are. We've got this beauty right here that we're building. And this is Lego set 21353. And it has only 3,792 pieces. Like I said, we're on part 3 right now. Hello, Greg. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and switch cameras so you can see how far we have gotten on this. We've gotten bags 1 through 13 done, and I didn't realize my microphone was in the way, so let me slide that out of the way. Okay, there we go. Hopefully you guys can still hear me pretty well. All right, so this is what bags 1 through 13 will get you. We're going to try to get 6, maybe 7 bags done today. I don't know. It all depends on how the whole entire thing goes. So how was your day today, Greg? And while I'm waiting for Greg's answer, it snowed here. Extremely rare weather. How much did you get? Because I saw on Facebook that Cajun Yeti put down some pictures, shared some pictures of how much snow they got, and it was absolutely ridiculous. He got something like 1.5 feet, and he says he's never seen snow there before in his life, and he's lived there 40-something years. So, yeah, I'm just curious how much you got, Greg. And hello, Blake. You said almost 8 inches. Wow. So, are you? Is your city set up to remove snow? I mean, or you guys just have to wait? I mean, like, what? How does that work for you guys? I mean, of course, where I live, we get snow every year, so we've got really good snow removal equipment, so it's not a problem for us. But of course, I live up in Idaho, and anyway, yeah. So I've got some exciting things to tell you guys. I have been able to work on the Avengers Tower, and I'm almost ready to do. I'm almost ready to release that video. I just got to do some editing on it, and it's good to go. Hello, Mrs. Chip. Hello, Blake. And no, it's not set up. Got to wait for the sun to do its job. 8 inches. That's going to take a while to melt that down, man. Well, so was work canceled today then for you? What about you, Miss Chip? Did you guys get any snow where you're at? Because you're also in Texas, but I know you're I think if I remember right, I looked it up once. You and Greg are like 3.5, 4 hours apart from each other. Oh, yep, work's canceled. All right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed your day off. I really am liking this set, by the way, guys. There's a lot of greenery here. There's a lot of good stuff. I like the minifigures. We've built, let's see, how many? 6 so far. And I believe this set has 11. And I'm not paying attention, and I missed a couple pieces. So let me go ahead and add those real quick. I kind of had a frustrating day today, and it was mainly because I tried to get some stuff done. For instance, my 3D printer quit working. And I don't know much about 3D printing. I just barely got into it. And I figured the nozzle was clogged. So I went ahead and ordered some replacement nozzles. They weren't much. It was like a pack of 12 for $10. So a little bit less than $1 a piece. And so I thought, okay, cool. And I made sure I ordered the right ones. Because, I mean, I know what model I have. Well, they came in the mail, and I went to install them today, and when I pulled out the old one and compared it to the new ones, The new ones are much longer, almost twice as long. And I was like, this isn't going to work. So I checked the packaging, and I noticed that the packaging said the Neptune 4 Max. I had the Neptune 4 Pro. And sure enough, I went on Amazon, and I did order the right ones. They sent me the wrong ones. This particular seller is so cheap, they do not do return shipping labels. So that means I would have to ship it back at my own expense. I'm not going to do that because it was only a $10 item, and the return shipping is like $5. So I don't really think it's worth it. So I'm just going to have to order the right ones, even though I already did that. But I'm not going to go through that seller. I'm going to find somebody else who has it, because I already gave them money once and they screwed up, and I don't feel like giving it to them again and having something like this happen again. Mrs. Chip said no. No snow, just cold. Okay. Well, same here. It's, of course, I'm a totally different location, you guys. I'm in southeastern Idaho. But we have been very cold. In fact, last night we got down to -5, and the high today was only like 18. So, yeah, but we already had snow on the ground. We didn't get any additional snow. So yeah, our weather's different here, but it's not much funner. That's why I have Gertie right now. If you guys didn't know, Gertie's a Great Pyrenees dog that is my sister's, and I knew my sister. She's out of town right now, and her husband is disabled, and so I knew he wasn't going to be able to take care of the dog very well in this cold weather, and I was afraid that he would just tether her outside, and so I offered to watch her for a few days while my sister's gone. But Gertie goes home tomorrow, and I fly out tomorrow, so no live stream tomorrow. Going out to see my granddaughter in Texas. So hopefully they didn't get any snow there. I don't think they did, because they're further south than Mrs. Chip, and she didn't get any snow. So I don't think that's the case. I think we're going to be good. But yeah, really, really excited about that. And I also noticed that on the last bit of this, I left some pieces out. So I'm going to go grab the extra, because I threw them all in the drawer. I'm going to grab that real quick. Well, I found one of the missing pieces already. So yeah, I'll be going out to see my granddaughter. Also, I had a very stressful day today. Not just because things didn't go right on that end. It's because, as you guys know, I've mentioned this before a couple times in my streams, I just got hired by the IRS. And yesterday, an executive order was put out banning the IRS from hiring. And so I, of course, couldn't contact anybody yesterday because the government was closed due to MLK Day. So therefore, I was kind of left in limbo till this morning. And then this morning I tried calling the recruiting office and to find out an update. And the annoying thing about that is I guess everybody else and their dog wanted to contact them as well. And so I got something I haven't gotten in years. It's called the busy signal. So, yeah. So I did not get my answer right away. Called a few times, kept getting the busy signal. And then finally, I remembered that one of my lug members, she is a manager for the IRS. So I contacted her and I said, hey, what do you think this means? And she says, well, have you already got your offer letter? I said, yeah, I got it a month ago. Have you accepted it? I said, yeah, I did. And she goes, well, according to the IRS, you're already hired. You just didn't start. She's like, so I think you're going to be just fine. And so I was really hoping she was right. And then a couple hours later, I got an email from the IRS telling me when my orientation is exactly, what time, what date, and the location and everything else that I'm going to need. So I really hope that this means what I think it means, and that is everything's okay and I have a job. So, and hello, John. If I didn't already say that, I don't remember if I did. And good evening, Cubnan. How you doing? And Greg says he wanted some hot chocolate today, but didn't have any. And I'll bet you the grocery store was probably closed. 8 inches is a lot of snow if they don't have snow removal equipment. Greg, are they planning on, or what's the weather like going to be for the next couple of days? Is it going to be warm enough to melt everything? I mean, 8 inches is a lot. It's going to take a couple of warm days to get that down. And the main problem is if you guys freeze again overnight, it's just going to become very, very slick because it'll melt and then it'll refreeze it at night. And that, I always hate that because the first day that the snow falls around here, I can get around on my driveway pretty well. But then if it melts a little bit and then refreezes, you got ice and then it's really slick. And then walking on it is dangerous, and so is driving, even just out of the garage. So John says he spoke to 2 breeders today, possibly a third. Okay. All right. I'll trade the snow for this cold weather we're having. You know, Cubman, I'm going to agree with that. How cold has it been there? Before you came on, I mentioned that here we got down to -5 last night. So it's been pretty cold here. I think I'd just rather have the snow. All right, so I got some dad jokes for you all today. And here it goes. Why did the electric car feel discriminated against? And the answer is because the rules weren't current. Yes, I realize that's a very lame joke, but I like my dad jokes. I like them so much, I got another one for you. I'm such a good navigator that a self-driving car once asked me for directions. Right now, -2. Woo. John says this is going to be replacing my iMac 24 ink, even so more so. Okay. Build a snowman and put a magical hat on top of it. Yeah, I guess you could. And Boo, well, I think I used to embarrass my dad as a teenager because whenever he told me boo, I used to respond with B. So anyway, typical teenage behavior, I guess. And by the way, if you guys missed the show yesterday, I did go to Kanab train show with my dad this weekend, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was one heck of a lot of fun. I ain't gonna mention any names, but I also found out that I have a not so secret admirer at this show. And anyway, that part was not fun. But anyway, I've handled that, so I think we're good. Okay, making sure I do this right. A little better. Okay. And you know what I mean? Mr. Chip, check the link I sent you after this. Oh, okay, I will. I'll gladly do that. Yeah, my phone's over there charging. I haven't been able to charge it all day. So we're down to like 50-something% before the stream started. And I got more jokes for you. No worries. I got plenty of those today. I'm so good at fixing things. My motto is, if it's broke, I'll still fix it. Kind of sounds like Mrs. Chip's dad. We joke and we call him Paul Bunyan. And he actually does say this when he's working on stuff. If he can't get it to go, he'll often say, just get a bigger hammer. That's his kind of his go-to mantra. Oh boy. Well, how's that supposed to work? Sorry, I'm like kind of trying to do this at the same time and kind of talking to myself here. Let's there we go. That's how it works. Okay. You know, in my lug, we've got this guy. His name is Dave, and he really likes flowers and plants and stuff. And I think this set would definitely be on the top of his list. Frosty the Snowman. Okay. The breeders in North Carolina. Oh, okay. The breeders in North Carolina, they travel. All right. Well, we got 2 bags done, so we're on to 15. Like I said, I'm hoping to squeeze in an extra bag. And I apologize if you can hear Gertie. She's in the house with me, and she is rather loud today. My neighbor kind of said something to me today, so I'm kind of bummed about that, because I let Gertie out last night because she was going to throw up, and it was like at 1 a.m, and even though I'm on 3 acres, I'm still close enough the neighbor can hear, because the fence line, how far out it goes pretty close to their house. And Gertie was barking at 1 o'clock in the morning, and the neighbor wasn't mean about it, but let me know they heard it. And I felt bad because I don't want for that to happen ever. So the waiting list is a year. Okay. Well, that part's not good, but and Jenny or Miss Chips does say Dad will say he'll get a bigger hammer. Yes, I've heard him say that one many, many times. And I apologize. I'm coming down with a sickness. I could feel it. I woke up feeling sick a little bit. It kind of wore off, and it's kind of coming back as the evening's waning. So I hope I'm not too sick for my trip, because my goodness, I do not want to cancel it. If I don't go see my granddaughter now, I'm not going to see her for probably till Christmas time. So yeah, really like to do that. And the cats, they're doing pretty good, Greg. I actually felt a little sympathy for them and let them in the house last night because it was -5. And I mean, hey, I wouldn't want to be out there in this weather, so I don't expect them to be out in it either. So that's how that's going. Okay, John says he'll be working with 2 breeders, both from dog show lines. Okay. Now, do they come with papers when you do that? And if they do, is that why they cost a little bit more? Or, I think I've only ever bought 1 dog that had papers. Okay. I got a new pen that can write underwater. I soon figured out it can write other words too. Not in tank tops and gym shorts. Well, yeah, I don't typically wear that, Craig. Man, with being 18 degrees out here, you've got to bundle up before you go outside. It's very dangerous. You can only be outside for a little bit. But yeah, I've got the Avengers Tower video. I got to finish editing it, and then I'll be ready to release that. So I don't think I'll get that done before I go on my trip. So I think I'll release that video shortly after I get back. but that's going really well. I'm excited about the building. I want it to go well. And as soon as it warms up, guys, in just a little bit, I will do a live stream out of the shop. Because like you guys know, shortly after I moved in, I paid to have the Wi-Fi extended out to the shop. So I can do live streams from the shop. Oh, Rancor Steve. Okay, yeah. Well, if I'm able to attend, I will. I don't know if I'm going to be able to because I'm expecting a guest over here at about 7:30 my time. So, don't know if I'll be able to, John. But if I can, I will. It's not supposed to be a very long visit, so if they're on time and they're out of here, I can. But if they're not, well, it kind of restricts things for me. All right, got another joke for you. And since I'm starting a new job, this is appropriate. My boss told me, dress for the job you want, not for the dress you have. So I started going to work dressed as Batman. All right, that's bad. Better run fiber out there. We actually do have fiber here. And but I do not have the money to do it because the location of everything, it was going to be a really long route because of the way the driveway is. So I just went with a wireless mesh thing that extends the Wi-Fi out there. But that's kind of a problem because I don't want to embarrass anybody, so I won't use any names, but neighbors close to me, they have preteen kids, and unfortunately, when I first extended my Wi-Fi, the company out here, your password when you first start out is your phone number. And they knew that. And I didn't even think about changing it at first. And then the mom politely let me know one time that, hey, my kids are accessing stuff they probably shouldn't as kids, if you know what I mean, on your Wi-Fi. So can you change your password? And I was like, oh, crap. Yeah, I'll do that. So I was only here about a month and I changed my password on my Wi-Fi. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. And because it extends it, yeah, they could get the Wi-Fi in their house from my house. So anyway, any plans for dinner tonight? Yes. I plan on going to the grocery store and seeing what meats they might have on sale. I'm in the mood for some steak, and this little grocery store is good for that kind of stuff. So I even went there last night after the stream and they still had some steaks that were reduced. And so I always like that when that happens. Okay. Cubman says, I have a Lego question. Sometimes the clear windows and doors come smudged or scratched. Looks terrible in the build. How do I fix? Unfortunately, you don't fix it. There is no magic. I mean, smudges, I just use light dish soap and one of those terry cloths that you use, or microfibers, I should say, cloths that you use for cleaning like a car. That works really well because it doesn't scratch it if it's just smudged and dirty. Now, if it's scratched, it's just scratched. And what I have found, a couple years ago, I want to say probably 3 years ago, because I wasn't in this house yet, Lego had a sale on the glass this size, and not the doors, but the size of the door glass, both clear and blue. And they were on sale for like 8 cents a piece. So I ended up going hog wild, and I bought 1,000 each of everything. Okay, let's see. And that's what I use. If they're too scratched up, I just replace them. But yeah, Lego should be more responsible. Now, if they're really scratched, I mean, I've called Lego customer service for stuff like that, and they do replace them free. Because you just tell them, hey, look, man, it looks like crap. And most Lego wraps are cool. And in fact, I think I've only ran into one that I can remember that was a jerk. Most of them are pretty cool. And I've got another dad joke for you. I went to the aquarium this weekend, but I didn't stay long. There was something fishy about the place. And yes, that's a totally horrible dad joke there. Ooh, looks so bad. They were deconstructed. Oh, man. Well, if it's cloudy because a little bit, I mean, there's different reasons for it to be cloudy. If it was cloudy because a little bit of white dye made it in there, there is no way to clean that up. But if they're just dirty, dish soap and microfiber towels are the best. And I'm sorry to hear that happened to you. I mean, sometimes these sort of things upset me with Lego because, I mean, let's get real. It's more than just a toy system. I mean, the amount of money you put into them, you would think they'd have better quality, but they don't. You tried lens cleaner. That should work too, though, because lens cleaner is soft on. Yeah, I would think that would work too. I use Dawn dish soap, by the way. I don't know if it really matters what kind, but that's the only kind I've tested it on. I can tell you that the hacks that they have for getting rid of yellowed Lego pieces by putting them hydrogen peroxide, it does work. It will bring it back to the original white and get rid of the yellow. However, the problem is it doesn't stay that way, and it does come back with a vengeance, the yellowing. I found that it lasted me about a year and a half, and then it just yellowed like crazy. So I don't think the hydrogen peroxide is really all that worth it. And John says, or Cubnan says, maybe I'm super picky. No, I don't think you are, because I feel the same way about Lego products. Do you remember? I can't remember. Was it the Assembly Square that came with the little blue and yellow parrot bird, and it was supposed to be marbled? The one that I got was almost all blue. There was barely any, and I mean barely any, of the other color too. It's all blue. The yellow was like just a little bit on the feet. And if you look at the instructions, it was supposed to be like half and half. And believe it or not, I called Lego and I said something to them, and the girl was really nice. She was like, "Oh, well, really sorry about that. I'll send you out a couple of them. That way, hopefully you'll get the right mixture, what it was supposed to be." And I felt so bad because they sent me like 10 of them, and all of those were right. So I ended up with like 9 free birds. But Lego's good like that. They really are. And John says he used Dawn for everything. Yeah, I use Dawn because when I wash the pieces to my CPAP machine, or BiPAP machine, I should say, Dawn, I don't mind that. And you have to be careful because you don't want to use an abrasive cleaner, because even when that stuff dries, it dries on your stuff and then you're breathing it in. And my sleep doctor recommended Dawn because how gentle it is. Okay, so this one's the opposite. All right. I will turn this around after this bag so you guys can see the progress. I know it's kind of hard because I can't build upside down, and maybe I should just flip my camera around so it's behind me when I do live stream, so you can look over my shoulder, if you know what I mean. That's probably a good idea. Okay. Got a little bit more in this bag. Yeah, I do like Lego customer service a lot. Um, I did have, like I said, I've only had one negative experience. I've called them dozens of times. Um, and I don't really care what the negative experience is. I mean, everyone has a bad day. And maybe that rep that I was dealing with was just having a really bad day. So they really didn't help me with my problem, but whatever. That's a whole nother story. Do you know why dinosaurs can't clap? It's because they're extinct. Oh, all right. You've seen streams like that. It's awkward. Okay. And working on the boutique motel now. I like the boutique motel. And I'm going to tell you right now, I liked it so much. I bought 2 of them so I could put an extra second floor, because at the time, the peach like color, I don't know what official color that is, but the peach like color on that floor, it was hard to find back then. I'm sure it's a little easier to find now, but at the time it was a rare color, and I really wanted it because I wanted that extra floor. So I just bought a second one. And Mrs. Chip just about killed me when I did, but it's all good. No, I'm just kidding. Miss Chip, she's not bad when it comes to that kind of stuff. She actually, if anything, Mrs. Chip is the opposite of a 12-step program when it comes to Lego. Instead of helping me get out of Lego, Mrs. Chip helps me get further into it. And I mean that. Not just joking around, although I do like to joke around. Yeah. Mrs. Chip's 12-step program for Mr. Chip is encourage him to go to the store. Ask him if he doesn't have this one, if he doesn't have this set. But that's okay. I encourage Mrs. Chip with her hobbies as well. In fact, I wrote her a database at one time to help her keep track of all of her patterns. I thought we did one for your books too, but I can't remember. Okay, we are on bag 17, and we're at 32 minutes, so I am hoping that we can get that extra bag in today. I think we can. That'd be really nice if we could. And don't fear, I read a couple of the news of the weird for you guys too. So this is minifigure number 7. So, I told you after this bag I was going to turn around. Let me do that. All right, so this is what it looks like so far. We did just now, the last bag we did was this greenery right here. The bag before that was this wall. And the bag before that was the plants, but I thought you guys saw that because the wall wasn't here. So, and then here's the minifigures we've got done so far. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this around, and yeah. And in fact, at one time, this is how much Mrs. Chip has helped me get to my Lego addiction. A couple years ago, well, I guess more than a couple now because I was living in Virginia. And that was almost 6 years ago. My goodness, it's hard to believe it's been that long. Anyway, we were in Virginia, and they had a strict rule back then, and they were enforcing it about how many Lego sets you could buy. And it was the Palace Cinema. And I wanted several copies of it because I was trying to make a bowling alley, and I needed the tan in the windows. And I think I needed like 6 copies of it to do this bowling alley, because the bowling alley is the same size as this. It's 1x2 plates. It was pretty big. And I went to the store, and they were like, "Oh, you can only have 2." And I was like, "Well, dang it, I need 6." Like, nope, we can only give you 2. So Mrs. Chip just said, "Okay, buy your 2." So I bought my 2. We did some shopping. We had dinner, that kind of thing, lunch, whatever it was. So it was a couple hours later, She walked in the Lego store with the same credit card, and she bought me 2. And then we went down the road to another Lego store because there was another one in a mall about 20 minutes from that one. And we ended up getting another 2. So, yeah, she's definitely helped me with my addiction, get further into it. And hubby found Jazz Club for me in Seattle. Doesn't fit in his suitcase. Had to swap with his son. Oh, man. Well, hey, I'm glad he was able to get it for you, though. That's really cool of him to do that for you. And Mrs. Chip does that, too. She's in Texas. I'm in Idaho. And there's a few times that she'll find some sets on a clearance. And because I'm not the type that saves my boxes, I'll just have her put it in a box and ship it to me without the Lego box. And if it's more than one copy, she doesn't send me the instructions because I only need one set of instructions. And that's kind of how we do it to get around stuff. Make it a little lighter, a little cheaper. But yeah, Mrs. Chip's a good partner when it comes to that. She's a good partner in general. And I know I felt as soon as I said it, I'm like, oh, that sounded really cold. Like, oh, the only thing she's good for is Lego. She's good for other things too. I didn't mean it like that. My goodness. Y'all probably think I'm a horrible husband. Which, I mean, on certain days, if you ask Miss Chip, she'll probably say I am a horrible husband. I'll agree with that. But hopefully most of the time she says that I'm just a really sweet guy. One can hope, at least. All right. Mr. Cubnan helps with your addiction, and that's awesome. Fabulous, a lot of work. That build's really looking good. I appreciate it. I like it myself. It's just been a lot of fun doing this. I mean, and I do think this is one of the more beautiful sets Lego's done because of the vibrant colors of the plants really makes everything pop. And then having the building be white really helps because it's a neutral color kind of, well, very neutral color. And it just causes all the other bright colors just to really stand out. I like it. Okay, let's see. Well, I unpacked a few boxes today, and I'm sorry to tell you guys, but I found more Lego that I need to put together. So, I'm going to be busy for the next long while. And I can't believe I'm actually starting the job on Monday, man. When I first got my start date, it was almost 2 months out, and I just remember thinking, oh man, that's going to take forever. And man, it didn't take forever at all. It's already here almost. In fact, I'm trying to squeeze in that visit with my granddaughter. And not just trying to, I am going to squeeze in. I already bought my tickets. So, yeah, it's just really interesting. Most of the time, Mr. Chip is a sweet guy. Well, I appreciate that. And I do. I sincerely, I'm glad to hear that she agrees. And like I told you guys before, we like to joke around a lot, but it does mean a lot to me that she feels that way. All right. This is looking so good. All right, I got to news of the weird. I got to do it. So let's go over here. Okay. Okay. San Mateo, California, police arrested a Kentucky man in the early morning of January 12th for a suspected hit-and-run incident. Frank Falcone, 62. I don't know if I could really, with a serious face, this is hard to tell you guys. He told officers he was driving northbound on Pacific Boulevard when a southbound car came towards him with the high beams on. Okay, we've all had that before. Not too weird yet, right? All right, hold on to your hats. Here he goes. The lights disturbed Falcon so much because, quote, of the brightness and potential radiation hazard, close quote, he said. So he rammed the other car. When the other car stopped, he rammed the car 2 more times. Then Falcon fled the scene and told officers that he evaded the cops that were trying to pull him over because he were afraid that they weren't cops, but they were people who were instead impersonating cops. Oh boy. Okay. He was arrested on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon. Okay. So there you have it. News of the weird right there. And I've got another one for you. I will not be able to pronounce these names, so I am going to, because this story is out of Nigeria, and out of respect for the man, because I don't want to butcher his name, I'm just going to call him John. Okay, not his real name. Nigerian gospel singer John, age 30, was arrested on January 12th. Also on January 12th. That must have been a very interesting day. Was it a full moon? Someone want to check? No, I'm just kidding. He was arrested on January 12th as he carried a bag that contained the severed head of his girlfriend, reported the BBC. The bag drew the attention of other people who held him until the police arrived. I'm short a candlestick. Nice. Well, maybe it landed on the floor. Okay, let me read the rest of the story. Let's see. The suspect was found with a fresh human head, said the police. And when we got to the scene, we rescued him from being mobbed. Other parts of the deceased body were later found at his home. Abby Simon, real name, a friend of the 24-year-old victim, said that John was not her boyfriend. And, quote, even if she was his girlfriend, she didn't deserve to die that way. I agree. She did not deserve to die that way. That is some weird stuff. Well, I don't have one in my spare drawer. Let me see what bag we're on. Maybe I'll check the bags on the floor when I empty them. So hopefully, bag 17. Okay, well, I don't have, it's not in those bags down there. Let me check my Bricklink store real quick, because if I have one of those, it's just down in the basement and I'll have to suit up and go outside. So let me check that real quick. Does the article tell you? No, they don't. And honestly, that's one of those situations where I don't think there's any explanation at all that would justify that or make that situation make sense. Okay, I thought, yes, I only have 1,646 of those downstairs. So let's I'll change it and make it say 45. And then I will be back in about 30 seconds. Okay, I'm back and I have it. Okay. And I knew from doing the other parts of this build that I couldn't do without that piece. Because literally this next step covers it, so if I wouldn't have had it, it would have been a problem. So, and then this story breaks my heart because this next news the weird, because you got to remember I have grandchildren, and I would be really upset if this ever happened to one of my grandchildren. It's titled "You Only Had One Job." Bridgentine, if I'm saying that right, it's the name of the city in New Jersey. Police were called to a home on the Jersey Shore on January 13th. Okay, well, at least it wasn't January 12th. Okay. After a neighbor found a toddler wandering around outdoors alone. The neighbor recognized the child and returned them to their home, where she found the babysitter, Jenna Davidson, age 35, passed out on the floor. First responders took Davidson to the hospital, where it turned out she had, quote, consumed a significant amount of the homeowner's alcohol to the point where she became unconscious and unresponsive, close quote, police reported. She was charged with endangering the welfare of a child. And like I said, because I have grandchildren, that's one that disturbs me, because I just think children are extremely special. And, well, those who've been watching the channel for a long time know that, unfortunately, I've had to have custody of my granddaughter twice temporarily. And it really bothers me when people don't take care of kids. They're helpless and they should be taken care of. So, not that I want to get on a soapbox about it, but kids are one thing I really care about. And that's one thing I don't like joking around about, is kids. Okay, we are on bag 18. Oh, gross. I'm not really sure I want to read this next story. But it is part of it. So, all right, we'll read it. Okay. This is called Bright Ideas. And this one took place in Japan. Toilet paper shoppers in Kagoshima Prefecture in southern Japan have a new option for toilet paper. Oh boy. I don't think I can get behind this. There's now options to buy rolls that are made from used diapers and other used hygiene products. Yeah, please don't specify that. I don't want to know. The products are available in the cities of Shibuya and Osaka. Oh, man. And they started being available in April of 2024. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I don't want to read the rest of that article. That's enough. And Mrs. Chip will assure you, if it grosses me out, it's bad, because I don't get grossed out too much. But the part that got me, well, first of all, used diapers got me. You had me at used diapers. But then when you say other used hygiene products, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. Well, I'm excited because I get to fly tomorrow. I get to drop off Gertie. And if I remember, I'm supposed to take a sheet of sheetrock to my brother-in-law, who's going to be watching my dog. He has a project which he needs that, and I had to buy a whole entire sheet, and I only needed a little section of it cut out. So it's going to go to a good use to somebody who can use it. Okay. Let's see what else, what other damage we can do here. And I'm sorry about that last one, guys. I honestly didn't read ahead. So I had read up to the one I told before that. And yeah, maybe I should have read ahead. That's not one of my prouder moments. Hey, Jelly Bricks, how you doing? It's been a while, man. How you been? And Jelly Bricks, since you seem to like cats, have you seen those videos of those two cats that drive around really erratically, and it always has that kind of rock music playing, and it's always the same song? I would play it, except for I'd probably get a copyright strike for doing so. But yeah, anyway, I love those videos of those two cats. And the one's always wearing, it's a white cat with different colors on it. And it's always the driver. And then the other one's always a black cat who, well, depending on what it is, he could be wearing shades. I've seen him wearing a FedEx uniform. Anyway, let's see. Jelly Brick says, I'm doing good. School has been stressful. Gotten a free Grim Dragon and adopt me. Okay. Cool, man. Yes, I will be happy to drop off Gertie. It's been nice to have her here and, you know, have her in a warm environment where she's not going to be too cold. But I'm also ready for her to go home. Like I said, the neighbors complained about her already. So, and my neighbors don't complain. They really don't. So, I like this, kind of like a little skylight. Does she smell anymore? Not as bad. I did get some tomato juice. For those who don't know, Gertie got skunked 2 nights ago. Yeah. Or was it last night? Oh, heck, I don't remember. It had been last night, because last night's when I went and got tomato juice. So, yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah, she got skunked. And it was like right before the show. And if you have her outside during the show, she just barks, barks, and barks, and barks. I didn't know the neighbors were going to complain, but I don't like her barking when I'm doing my live stream anyway, because it disrupts me. And so I brought her in, and I smelled it right away, but I didn't have time to do anything about it. Didn't have any tomato juice. And unfortunately, I met her outside, and it was so cold, I really couldn't smell it outside. So I went and pet her. So when I came inside, my hands smelled like skunk. So it was a very fun experience. It comes recommended. No, I'm just kidding. Does not. The smell has died down a little bit, John. But it's still pretty potent. Another good reason to take her home. Let my brother-in-law deal with it. I mean, after all, it's his dog. Let's see. In school today, we found out that there's a church that worships a flying spaghetti monster. Really? What church is that? Okay, to each his own. I don't mean to make fun of people. Not on religion. Religion is it's kind of a sensitive subject, and I guess people have their reasons for believing whatever they believe in. So I try to be sensitive to that, because not that I think that my religious beliefs are weird, but I once had a friend who was Jewish point out to me that Christians are weird. We believe in zombie Jesus. So, and when he put it that way, I'm like, well, yeah, I guess, kind of. Yeah, you're right, kind of. So, I try to be sensitive to other people's beliefs because we're all different. Sounds like Gertie needs doggy school. She really does, Mrs. Cubnan. She, yeah. I don't want to bash on my sister, but I will say that Gertie is mostly outdoor on a tether almost all day long. And so she's just, I've had her over here a few times, and I've taught her a few things. Like, she didn't even know how to sit when I first started having her over. And it bothers me because Gertie's a really loving dog. And she barely knows me. But because I show her kindness, she does not let any other dogs except for Enzo anywhere near me. She's very protective. And I really like that about her. Oh boy. I don't know. It sounds funny. Oh, zombie Jesus. The fact that Jesus died and then came back to life after 3 days. That's what he meant by calling him zombie Jesus. And he didn't, my friend's not the offensive type. So it wasn't like he said it. I was talking to him about Hanukkah and how it got started and the miracle of the oil. And if you guys don't know the story, I won't get into it. But he was telling me that story and a couple other things about Jewish people. And I kind of made the remark that I found it a little bit odd. And then that's when he's like, well, Christians are kind of weird too, because zombie Jesus. And I have to admit, he's got a point. I mean, we do believe he came back from the dead, right? After 3 days. Now, I'll make fun of my own beliefs just because I know I'm safe if I do that. And one of my favorites is the one around Easter time, the meme that goes around. And the meme that goes around is the one about Jesus, the stone door being rolled from the grave. And his followers say, he has risen. And then there's another picture right next to it, and it's Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, and it's like, don't worry, I got him. And it's got a ghost going into a trap. Anyway, I do think that's funny. No disrespect. If you don't find it funny, I'm sorry. I don't mean to disrespect, but I do believe in Jesus, and I find it funny. So, I believe in ghosts and believe that antique dolls are haunted. Well, I actually believe in ghosts too. Now I don't believe in the famous show Ghost Hunters. I think they're full of crap because they do those recordings and it's like, the ghost said he wanted to kill you. And all I heard was somebody fart. And I'm like, that's not a ghost saying they want to kill you. That's somebody passing gas. So I didn't like those stories because those to me are just stupid. But I'll tell you a story about this house, this very house right here I'm in right now. I do believe there are ghosts around this house. One day I pulled in, and I used to park my truck in the shop. And the only way to get in the shop is you have to pull it into the driveway, and then you have to reverse back into the shop. And anyway, that's what I did. And when I checked my rear view mirror to make sure, there was no obstacles, I didn't see anything. So I started backing up slowly. And as I was backing up slowly, I checked my mirrors again in the back, and I saw a man standing there. And he was wearing a black suit, a black top hat, and a black cane. And he only appeared for a split second, and I hit my brakes because I was going to hit him. And it was really scary. And then he disappeared, and I didn't hit him. And I actually really would have gotten close to hit him, but I looked around and there was no one there. So, and there were no footprints, no nothing. So I don't really know what that's all about. And then another time in the same house, I woke up in the middle of the night, and something was knocking on the outside of the house on the wall. And keep in mind, I have security cameras that have infrared, and so they can see in the dark just fine. And I pulled out my phone rather than getting out of bed, and I got 2 cameras in that corner, so they can see either direction. And so if somebody would have ran off real quick, it would have caught them. Well, my cameras had nothing on them. And then the back door to the house, there's been knocking at random times, and no one's there. Well, I went and saw someone who believes in ghosts, and they asked me a really odd question. They said, all these occurrences in your house, around your house, do they happen in a straight line? And they do. The way that the house is, the shop is offset from the house, the back door, and then where the knocking was, you could draw a straight line across all that. I don't know what the significance of that is, but the person that I was talking to, that's what they mentioned. So I don't really know what it means, but I guess there's some sort of significance if you're into ghosts more than I am, because I'm not really that into them. I believe in them, but I don't study them a lot. So you saw Mr. Peanut. I don't know who Mr. Peanut is. If that's Mr. Peanut. Oh, you're talking about the planner's peanut. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I guess you could say that. I never thought of it that way, but okay. He kind of did look like him. I didn't see his face, though, to see if he was made out of peanuts. Imagine if you were a ghost video and a person finds a ghost doing the Gangnam Style. Well, that would be pretty odd. Yeah, that would be. Just a little off there. All right, so I won't be here starting tomorrow. I'm traveling. I come back on Saturday, so on Sunday will be the live stream to finish this off. So I hope you guys tune in then and see that. And jelly bricks. Have you ever tried to research on your house, like research the backstory to know the backstory? Okay. Yes, I have. This house has only been owned by one other person, and they built the home, and they only built it 15 years ago. So the house is fairly new. However, before that, this whole entire subdivision used to be owned by one person, and it was a what do you call it? An alfalfa farm. We have no idea, but there was a log cabin on this. And yeah, the piece I was missing, there it is. I don't know if it was the original owner. I'm guessing it was, but this used to be an alfalfa farm, and there was a log cabin, according to county records, on this place at one time. But that's before Google Maps, so I'm afraid there's no way to really know exactly where the log cabin was. But based off of what I've seen around this house, I would not be surprised if this house was built on the remains of the log cabin. I don't know. I'm guessing there. I don't really know. And I don't want to make any claims that I do know, because I don't. But I do find it very interesting that whole entire thing happened. I can tell you that this county that I live in is very quiet. There's only been 3 homicides in the last 100 years in this county. Well, I'm sorry, 4, because 3 of them all were one incident. So I live in a very quiet area. Not much happens here. So I don't think it would be a homicide. Maybe it was some sort of farm equipment accident is what I'm thinking, because, if you believe in ghosts and all that, which like I said, I already do. A lot of times this rumor that they stick around when there's an untimely death. And so I'm kind of thinking that would be the case. Was that something had to have happened, like some sort of farming accident, farm equipment accident, because they didn't die from being killed, like a homicide. Then again, it could have been the person doing something to take their own self from this earth, if you know what I mean, because I can't say that word on YouTube because they don't like that word that starts with an S. Self-bleeding, I guess, is another term. Here's another minifigure here. A homicide is when a person kills another person, and it's usually homicide is not a good thing, because it's usually murder. Although there is what's called justifiable homicide as well, and that's like an example of someone breaks into your home and you defend yourself. So there's that. All right, well, come down. Thanks for being here. Do you have the ARC 170? If you so, do you like it? I have the old ARC 170. I don't have the new one yet. I would like to get it, and if I have the money to get it, I will. Jelly Bricks, if I saw a ghost standing at my door frame staring at me, I would just stare at it and fall asleep. Can you shout out my brother, Eternity Bricks? He works very hard. Yeah, sure. Eternity Bricks. If someone wants to throw a link in the channel, I'm okay with that. I don't. Here's the thing. People know this about me. I don't feel that I'm in competition with anybody, because each one of us have our own personalities. A lot of us do our own individual builds as well as product reviews. I do both product reviews and my own builds. So no 2 channels are the same. So I don't feel like I'm in competition with anybody. So Eternity Bricks, guys, if you want to check them out, please do. I don't have a link for them, but if someone wants to drop it in the chat, I'm totally okay with that. And Jelly Bricks says, if I was asleep and woke up and saw a ghost staring at me, I would stare at it and fall back asleep. All right. Well, guys, I really appreciate you being here. We've gotten, what is this, bags 1 through 19 done. So we have, I think, 7 or 8 more bags. Sunday night is where we're going to do it. If you guys would, hit the like button. If you're watching this over on Rumble, hit the Rumble button. That's the like button over there. And if you guys would, check out my Bricklink store, and I ship within 24 business hours. You guys have a great night. Be good to each other. Stay safe out there. And I will catch you on the next video.